What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hitting the Apex, our post race show. As we got some interesting things that happened this morning on the race. A lot shorter than we anticipated. I'm pretty sure, right? I mean, it's not even 9 o'clock yet, and here we
It
are.
is early. It's hard
Yeah,
to you just watched the Formula One race earlier at the time. Like, man, it is early.
It's early, man. I was looking at the time; it was like 8:35, and it was like 49 laps in. I was like, "What's going on here? It's crazy."
It's
Um,
definitely early.
I mean, but still had some exciting things going on, happening with some of the top teams, and then the midfield battle was I don't know if it was anything too exciting going on, but however, just getting back to it, Max, another dominating performance. Obviously, he is the fastest driver in this whole entire circuit, even way faster than his counterpart, right? Than Sergio Perez, as he kind of took P1 without a doubt, really. I mean, obviously some things led up to it being such an absolutely dominating performance. However, it still happened, and Red Bull continues to stay on top in the constructors and in the World Championship. And then obviously a nice strong finish by Mercedes once again in the 3-4 with George Russell at P3 and Hamilton at P4. Obviously, one of the biggest storylines is again reliability issues for the Tifosi, as Ferrari continues to have issues with their engine, hydraulic, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's not only Ferrari, but Alfa Romeo, Haas, some others that do provide Ferrari engines as well, having some issues. So we'll definitely talk a little bit about that. But I definitely want to get your take, guys, on how you felt the race went. Some other interesting stuff, right? No red flags. Talk to us a little bit about that. We'll start with you, Vish.
Yeah, I mean, this is a track that historically has had red flags or full safety cars at least, just because if you make a mistake in the most of the lap, other than the two long straights, they kind of have to stop the race to move the cars. But that didn't happen today. Yeah, it's unfortunate Ferrari's reliability issues kind of took the sting out of the race a little bit because Max is. I mean, I know Checo won last week, and everyone's like, "Oh, maybe there's Checo can't race with Max," and you saw that today. He whipped past him and opened up. He won by like 25 seconds, which is like crazy. They're in the same car, both running out front with clean air. Bax's DRS broke again, which is interesting, but they told him to stop using it, but it didn't matter.
Not like he needed it anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was out in front. Well, I mean, it might have hampered his fastest lap because what you try to do there is you try to because you can use it to lap cars too. So you try to like position behind the car you're trying to lap and then get DRS to hit the fast lap. So Checo did end up with fastest lap, but if Leclerc in particular had not blown up, it would have been an interesting finish because I think Max was dominant pace wise, but Ferrari made that gamble. I think they knew that, so they made that gamble to pit on the first virtual safety car, hoping for another one. They actually would have gotten the other one.
hmm
So because if you recall, Leclerc was going to have track position, um, and then hope for another pit stop.
Yep.
And then when that other virtual safety car come out, he would have gotten it. So it would have been
So
it
this
would have
time,
been
this
interesting.
strategy would have been perfect per se,
Yeah, it
right?
would. It
Yeah.
might. Yeah, it ended up being that Red Bull took the virtual safety car and pitted again, took their free pit stop. Most of the teams didn't. I think AlphaTauri was kind of the only one near the front that did it, and you saw how Hamilton ate both of them up. But that was exactly what Ferrari was betting on. It. Well, of course, you can't really say that because the reason for the virtual safety car was their own engine in a Haas causing it. But that was the gamble they made. But the fact that they were doing that because I forget whose radio it was. I think it might have been the McLaren radio, but they came on and said everyone that just pitted either needs another safety car or they're on a bad one stop or they have to do a two stop, and they all got the other safety car, so they got away with it. But Ferrari was gambling that early because I think they knew. I mean, you could see it right away. Checo opened a gap up. Max was right on Leclerc's bumper, and then there was a gap to back to Carlos as well. Like the Red Bull just had it today.
Yep.
hmm
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go off of what Fish said pretty much. Red Bull definitely had more pace today. Um, and, the fact that, Ferrari had to pretty much gamble with that virtual safety car on early in the race. And it might have paid off for him had they not DNF'd, but the fact that both Sainz and Leclerc did was disappointing, and it pretty much took all of the fun out of the race, to see, them battle back and forth, and because we haven't really had that real back and forth thing for a while between, Leclerc and Max and Perez and Sainz, like going back and forth and trying to, you know, get places or overtake and everything like that. We haven't really seen that. And so that's kind of a bummer, because you both want to see the best teams going at each other, you know. But other than that, we we got a pretty solid race out of Max, of course, who once again proves fastest driver on the track. Checo still had a pretty solid race. He ended up staying in P2. And then Mercedes with Ferrari struggles and pretty much everyone else's struggles. They were able to get P3 and 4. So they're able to move up in the points as well. So it was a really solid outing for them. And also, McLaren got both drivers in the top 10 for the first time, I think, since Australia. So that's a pretty big deal for us. So
I think we'll definitely have to talk about the McLaren radio beef that was happening between with Lando and Ricardo. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, but they just we'll talk about this probably more on Wednesday because honestly, we're talking about the battle for 8th here, but but they botched it from the beginning. Once they didn't let Ricardo pass Lando in the first stint, like how could they possibly let? I mean, that they made a mistake. They made a mistake, but we'll talk about that more on Wednesday.
I want to answer what Fernie wrote there, so to keep an eye on me after the 2 DNFs. Look, I'll be honest with you, man. It's disappointing, but I'm not like. First of all, I rarely do you ever see me get crazy about it, anyways. But the truth of the matter is that if they fix that reliability, I think it's obviously a lot of ifs, right? I get it. But listen, if they fix that, which obviously we'll get into, I think on Wednesday as well, with regards to the the new power units, if that's a big is that what's going on with their reliability, whatever the case is, Ferrari right now would be right there, if not at the top still, I think. And that's obviously it's a big if. Again, it's a big if, and we all know that Red Bull is the better team right now either way. They just strategize better. They've been able to
well, they've been there recently too.
Right,
so,
and they've got the best driver on the circuit, right? They've got the best.
That experience matters. Like they know how to manage it down. But also, just the thing is, these are two completely different design concepts. So the real question is
3 power unit.
Yeah, I mean they're likely going to take penalties, but last year, I mean, everyone was taking penalties by the end of the year. So that's just, you take your 5-place grid drop, whatever, figure it out. Especially, I mean, we can talk about this, but Russell finished third. He finished 45 seconds.
He just backed in
behind Max. Like there is a huge gap between the top 2 teams and everyone else. So I don't think they're going to be as worried about engine penalties. They'll take them strategically at tracks where they know they can overtake. That's exactly. Remember, if you recall, like Mercedes was doing that at the end of last year because they knew when they put a new engine in, they would get a big power boost, like for the first couple of races. So just like we can overtake here, take the penalty, just be faster than everyone else. So they'll be able to manage some of that. I think the big thing is with the cars are fairly even. Like it's still track to track. Like Red Bull looked faster today. Leclerc was on pole yesterday. I mean, it is really close. There's still evolution to happen in these cars. In addition to reliability, just it is very possible that we're like a few races from now, like Ferrari is, actually faster and they're getting 1-2s. And then that gap that looks big right now isn't big anymore. So it's all right there. Right now, this track definitely was more of a Red Bull track with the long straights. Canada, frankly, is as well. So it's going to be a little bit painful for Ferrari in the short term. But if they're, at some point you expect the cars to separate. Like actually by the end of last year, just going back, Red Bull was faster at the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, the Mercedes was the faster car. Hamilton won every race until the last one, which we know what happened. We don't need to relitigate that. But But the last down the stretch, it was Hamilton, because they finally got the car right where like we're just faster. If Ferrari gets to that, like Leclerc can drive. Like if Ferrari gets to that point, like they can string together 3 or 4 race wins in a row, and all of a sudden that lead is gone. So even without Red Bull DNFing, so it's right there because I think the big gap in the points, really how the point structure is from first to second. There's like an 8-point gap there, 7 points. After that, it's like 1 to 2 points. Yeah. So right now, Red Bull is obviously in front. They're the favorites, but Ferrari's right in there.
Rightfully so, too. Is Sainz? So was Sainz DNF a power unit issue, or was it? Just
They're saying hydraulics, but I mean,
right?
Let's. I'm not buying anything coming out of Ferrari at this point. More Ferrari powered cars didn't finish than finished. I'm not buying anything coming out of that team's mouth right now.
Unbelievable. But again, you mentioned it a little bit, Vish, and I'll go to you on this, Nick. George Russell backs his way into another podium, man. It's unbelievable. Just kind of like cruising in limbo there in the middle of nowhere, and boom, there he is, backed into another podium. Like, listen. He's not a terrible driver. He's a good driver. He's getting lucky as hell, guys. Come on.
Oh yeah, I mean, but he's putting himself in the positions to get lucky also. Yeah. I mean, you gotta give him credit at least for that part.
In this case, he definitely did. He was the best of the rest,
right?
And he earned that spot. Like he was going to, if the Ferraris had finished, he was going to finish 5th. So in this case, he absolutely earned that position.
Yeah, I mean, with George Russell, like another top 5 finish for him, and he's always finished in the top 5 every race consistently. So far this year,
he's been consistent. I'll give him that. He's been very, very consistent.
He has been lucky, like you said. I mean, today he was a little bit lucky, but Vish said he was also, out of all the rest of the drivers who were not named Red Bull, he was the best driver. Maybe if more laps, maybe Lewis Hamilton might give him a more run for his money at the end, but most likely it was just, George Russell, had the best pace of all the rest of the cars. And so, he earned the P3 today. And yeah.
Yeah, I will say this, this was not the most, there was, I think it might have been Miami actually, where he was a full pit stop down to Hamilton, and then there was a safety car, and he ends up getting a free pit stop, and now he's behind Hamilton with fresh tires.
Yeah.
That was the one where he had to go to the where like, George is going to pass us, right? His engineer was like, yep. It's just, but in this case, he qualified 5th. He qualified as high as he possibly could in that car. I do think overall Mercedes needs to learn how to be a midfield team. You can't double stack your cars when you're not faster than everyone else. They screwed Hamilton. He ended up recovering it back to where he would have finished anyway because he was not faster than Russell. I don't think he would have passed him, to be honest. Even if they kept him in the right position.
He's fighting so much, man. He is.
Yeah, but they screwed him. And when you double stack, when the field is tight bunched and you're not faster than the cars around you, really, maybe like a 1/10 of a second, but not enough.
Right.
And he comes out of that pit in 11th. It's just
tough.
Okay, what? Maybe don't double stack your cars because you don't have the pace to make up for it. And they're still mentally, I think, adjusting to that. So some of this Hamilton gets screwed stuff, though, is he was behind.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Russell was in front of him, so Russell got priority. But I think Mercedes just overall needs to learn how to be a midfield team.
All that being said, right? And we obviously see, the success that Russell is having. And yes, Jack, reliability isn't lucky. I get that, but reliability doesn't necessarily make you very competitive either. So it just means you're reliable. So he has had a bit of luck, but he has been driving well. I'm not taking away from the fact that he hasn't been driving well, and he's been in a position to capitalize on it. Fair enough. Is it safe to say though? Okay, I mean at this point now we're 9 races in, 8 or 9 races in, that Russell has been the better Mercedes driver, or is it just a matter of? I mean, look, and that's going back to putting himself in the position to be where he's at as well, right? So, does that make him, right now, the better driver for Mercedes?
I think so they've done pace analysis, and overall it's very close, but Hamilton has been faster. But again, that is some
Has
of
he
that
been
is
faster because he's had to, recover?
No, it actually makes you slower when because you get caught. Like he spent that's why by the time he caught up to Russell, he was like 20. He finished way behind Russell.
Yeah.
And that's because he had to work his way through the field. With that said, again, sometimes it's been Russell being lucky, but in this case, like he qualified higher, and that's why he ended up.
Sure.
That's why he ended up with the advantages. Other times it's been Hamilton qualified in front, opened up a pit stop gap, and then the safety car came. I mean, Hamilton has gotten bad luck in every safety car, so I would say the gap is exaggerated. It's so hard to tell with these midfield teams because, frankly, they're not good. And I think we need to mentally kind of wrap our heads around the fact of what Mercedes is right now, and they're like what McLaren was last year.
Yeah.
And so when you get into that situation, it's like a little thing here or there because the midfield's always tightly bunched. So the driver, it could be the driver, it could be a little bit of luck, it could be a slow pit stop costing you a second. You can't make that up like you could when you're faster than everyone else. So it is, it's hard to say at this point. There's still a lot of races left. I wouldn't go so far as to say he's the better driver.
Yeah, I mean, Hamilton has also had a lot more issues with his car, more than Russell has. And, I mean, you can go back to Imola where he basically wasn't even competitive, and I think he finished in like P14, which is almost unheard of for him. And he couldn't even, I don't think he even got into Q3 in that race because the car was just so bad.
Yeah, I agree. I get it. So again, top four finishes were Max, Checo, Russell, and Hamilton. I think who's fifth finally? Was it Alonso? No, Gasly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gasly was fifth. So
the best race of the year for him.
Yeah, and kind of interesting on the drivers' championship now. Sainz was basically finally after going off-roading for several races and getting 0 points was finally going to move up into the top four where he belongs. But again, double DNFs, so Russell kind of opened that gap. But Russell is still fourth in the drivers' championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it's obviously none of the Ferrari drivers' fault today, but that was just a huge. They gotta go hug the Red Bulls. Like they're way too far back right now. In fact, I think they're closer to Mercedes in the points than they are to Red Bull, which is like
you're like walking the constructors now.
Yeah, I mean that'll all like normalize over the end of the year, and they'll end up like it'll be the top two pulled away. But like that is pretty.
That's really
pretty shocking. And the Jack is talking about Stroll in the Destruction Championship, which is hilarious, by the way. But shout outs to Latifi. That was Latifi. Yeah. I mean, today just masterclass. That man pulled up to his pit to his grid spot incorrectly, was too far forward. The mechanics had to push it back. Gets a 10-second stop and go penalty. I mean, this man can't even pull up and park the car correctly.
I think it's a strong.
Did they even show what his other penalty was for? Ignoring blue flags, right? He got like another penalty on top of that. I mean, that man just a masterclass like that. How is he still out there? Like,
I think it's a tight race in the destruction championship between Latifi, Stroll, and Mick Schumacher at this point.
I mean, you got to give it up. AlphaTauri just entered the chat with their let's tape the rear wing together here.
At least they finished in the points, right?
Not Tsunoda did.
But Gasly did, right?
Yeah, but I mean, come on, dude. You cannot be fixing a Formula One car with tape like that. What is happening?
That was so funny. I don't know. I mean, I texted you right away. And I go, is that did the DRS just split in half? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it must have. I mean, I don't know what's going on with DRSs. Maybe you know what? It is the same. We talked about like Ferrari's reliability. The DRS issues seem to be all on that Red Bull.
For Red Bull, yeah, it's true. That's true.
But I've never seen a DRS split in half like that. And then, I mean, I don't even know why they sent him back out there at that point. Like he was out of the points. There it is.
There it is. Look
at that point, you're out of the points. So I don't know what you're even trying to do there. You're not going to be able to overtake people without DRS. So
that looks like something my Cuban grandmother would do.
They did fix. Was it also at Azerbaijan? I forget which track it was at. A few years ago, they fixed Hamilton's car with tape. It was different though. His was that headrest,
right?
That like it came loose and it kept popping up, and then that FIA made him come to the pits and they had to tape it down so it would stay down.
Yeah,
but this is much worse because this is an aerodynamic device. You got wind hitting it; it easily could have flicked off. Like I can't believe
they must have some.
I don't know how they
some Cuban guys there in the.
I mean, that is definitely the way we fixed it in Miami, but
Yeah.
actually, we just have some dude stand on the side and hold it down. Just hold it.
Yeah, for instance, that's how they fix a lot of things on the planes too. Yeah, it's completely different tape though, man. That's used for planes. That's specific to planes.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I was surprised they didn't.
Those
They
scare
didn't make
people
him.
around here.
Yeah, I don't. I'm surprised they let him finish the race like that. And I'm surprised AlphaTauri wanted him to. Like, I don't understand what the point was. And I'm surprised Red Bull didn't call down and be like, don't you dare cause a red flag right now. Pull that.
Oh my gosh,
yeah. Because like they should have made the call down. Like, hey, that thing flicks off and hits something, and we get a red flag, and all of a sudden I'm like.
Listen,
all the field is bunched up.
That episode is going to be awesome to watch of Drive to Survive, right? When Yuki is cussing everybody out. That's going to be awesome. That is going to be interesting to see after the post race when Yuki gets out of the car and goes after everybody.
So for a race that saw Red Bull kind of just pull away and win easily, there was a lot of like little interesting stuff. There's Vettel like cruising past Ocon and then forgetting to brake. Like there was a lot of fun little micro battles in this race, even though none of them really happened at the front.
And by the way, and after that happened, I mean, he still came back and overtook him eventually. Anyway,
by the way,
Vettel had a strong race.
Yeah, huge to spin the car around and get back in there without losing too many places. Like you could lose a lot of places there, and he only lost like 1 or 2. So that was big.
If he didn't spin out, we might have had him finish P4 instead of Hamilton.
Yeah, no, he was in position. We got Hamilton's back and his ass given out. Like, so I mean, there was some interesting things going on this race.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get into it a little bit on Wednesday. Do we have a break in between this and Canada? No, right? We go.
No, man, this is pedal to the metal.
That's right. That's right. So we'll do a little bit of a full review with the whole crew on Wednesday on this race, and we'll get right into the Canadian GP as it's going to happen next weekend. So
thankfully it's in Canada, so the timing.
Yes.
It's our time, man. It's our time.
We can't wait. We can't wait for the Latifi Stroll battle in Canada.
Oh yeah, the two Canadians at the back of the grid, see who can knock each other out first.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the storyline next weekend: is who can beat who in the back end over there. Who's going to finish 19 and who's going to finish 20? Oh man, 7 p.m. race time. Is it a 7 p.m. race time?
No, it's not a 7 p.m. race time. Yeah, no, it's like it's in the afternoon.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, something like that. No, it's not.
I'll tell you what, 7 p.m. would be awesome.
It's at 2. Qualifying's at 4, which is interesting.
Gotcha.
The race is at 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, right in the middle of me trying to get on a boat and go fishing or something. Awesome. Anyways,
so you're complaining that you get to go on a boat and go fishing?
Well, no. I'm complaining that the race is at that time.
Did you prefer the 7 a.m.?
Yeah, definitely not.
I will say it's easier to clear your schedule at 7 a.m. than it is like in the middle of a weekday afternoon. That does.
True. Yeah, you're right.
That's true. That's true.
And after that is Britain, which is 10 a.m., which is probably ideal.
Yeah, that's not too bad either.
Yeah, that's probably an ideal time to like still have your afternoon.
For real. Anyways, I think that's all for now. We did 25 minutes. I think this is the longest post race we've done in a while. So definitely appreciate it. We'll recap Baku on Wednesday and kind of some other storylines, obviously, and then we'll go get right into the Canadian GP, and hopefully, man, my voice can bounce back a little bit. I feel like I've been saying that for the past 5 weeks. So if it's not a driver, it's the whole damn team. So
I will say to encourage you a little bit, the pace is in the car, and that's the hardest thing, right? If the pace wasn't in the car, there's only so much you can do.
That's why I'm not too concerned. I think if they get the reliability down, then I think that they've got a shot. They've got a shot to get back in this and really be competitive with Red Bull. So we'll see. Anyways, Nick, Vish, thank you guys. Manny, thank you in the background. We appreciate it. And why don't you and Jack exchange phone numbers later? All right. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Make sure you check us out. Follow us on Twitter at F1_5Reasons, at Instagram at Hitting the Apex 5R. And make sure you click, subscribe, and smash the like button. We'll see you guys on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Check us out on Hitting the Apex. Have a good one, fellas.